Chosen one, if you're watching this video at this exact moment, it's not by chance. There's a divine force guiding you, and something extraordinary is about to happen in your life. You've gone through trials, faced silent battles, and now the moment of your supernatural financial breakthrough has arrived. God sent me as a messenger to declare that a financial miracle is being released upon you at this very moment. This isn't just another message of hope, it's the divine decree of your instant transformation. The resources you've been seeking, the opportunities that seemed unreachable, and the doors that were closed are now opening before you. There's a transfer of abundance happening in the heavens, and your name is written in this divine decree. This is the hour of your manifestation, the moment when everything you've dreamed of begins to materialize. Scarcity is no longer part of your life. From today, abundance takes over your home, your work, and your mind. God has seen your persistence, your unwavering faith, even in the most difficult moments. And now, He's preparing an overflow of blessings that no one can prevent. You were shaped through hardships so you could appreciate the greatness that's coming. Before continuing with this transformative message, I want you to do 3 simple things that will amplify this energy of prosperity. Click the like button, subscribe to this channel to help us reach more chosen people like you, and leave a comment with the word abundance. This simple act will seal your commitment to this new phase of prosperity that's beginning now in your life. Now, prepare your heart and mind. What you're about to hear will completely change your financial reality. Chosen one, at this exact moment as you hear these words, an unexpected financial miracle is on its way to you. This isn't just any miracle. It's something that will surprise you in ways you never imagined. It's coming at high speed, breaking through barriers and overcoming obstacles to reach you at the perfect time. The universe is conspiring in your favor, and God Himself is moving heaven and earth so this blessing touches your life. Have you felt that restlessness within your spirit? That feeling that something grand is about to happen? Don't ignore these signs. They're divine confirmations that your life is one step away from a complete transformation. The unexpected miracle that's coming will break all cycles of limitation that have controlled your finances. For a long time, you've walked through valleys of scarcity, faced mountains of bills, and rivers of worries. But today is the day to look at the horizon and see the clouds of abundance forming. Your financial miracle is no longer distant. It's on an accelerated arrival route, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can prevent it from reaching you. When this miracle arrives, it won't be like anything you've experienced before. It will transcend your logic, exceed your expectations, and establish a new level of prosperity in your life. This miracle will come from unexpected places, through people you never imagined, at moments that will seem perfectly orchestrated by the divine. God has already determined that you will no longer live in scarcity. From this moment, you're entering a sphere of supernatural abundance, where your needs will not just be met, but exceeded. The provision that's coming isn't based on this world's economy, doesn't follow the rules of the current financial system. It's a direct manifestation of God's power in your life. Visualize now, doors opening, opportunities arising, resources multiplying, and debts disappearing. This is the scenario being set up in your life at this very moment. You may not see it yet with your physical eyes, but your spirit is already witnessing this transformation. Your financial miracle is approaching and will arrive when you least expect it, but at the exact moment when you need it most. Faith is the currency that activates this miracle. The more you believe, the faster it arrives. It's not a question of if it will happen, but when. And that moment is closer than you imagine. Whether in days, hours, or minutes, this miracle already has your name, address, and is heading to transform your reality. Remember, unexpected miracles don't follow common logic. They appear when everything seems lost, when resources are gone, when human possibilities are exhausted. It's exactly at this point, at the boundary between the impossible and the supernatural, that your financial miracle is arriving. and it comes with tremendous force, capable of sweeping away any obstacle in its path. God not only saw your silent struggles, but also heard your desperate prayers in moments of greatest anguish. When you cried alone, when bills piled up, when financial pressure seemed to crush your dreams, He was there. And now, the moment of divine response has come. The time for supernatural intervention in your finances has arrived. This miracle that's on its way will surprise even those who doubted you. People who laughed at your faith, who belittled your dreams, who said you would never succeed, are about to witness the power of divine provision in your life. Your testimony will be so powerful that it will inspire faith in others who are going through similar struggles. The financial miracle that's coming isn't just to meet your current needs, but to establish a new foundation of prosperity in your life. It's not a temporary solution, it's a permanent transformation. God isn't just changing your situation, He's completely reformulating your financial identity. You weren't made to beg for crumbs, you were created to live in abundance. You weren't designated for scarcity, you were destined for prosperity. And this unexpected miracle is just the beginning of a new era of financial blessings that will pour continuously over your life. Right now, as these words resonate in your spirit, feel the energy of manifestation intensifying. Visualize resources moving in your direction, opportunities aligning, doors opening. Your financial miracle is in accelerated movement and nothing can stop it. It's coming with the divine seal and with the power to transform not just your circumstances, but also your mindset about money and prosperity. Prepare to receive. Clear doubtful thoughts. Eliminate limiting beliefs about finances. Open your spiritual arms to embrace the abundance that's coming. This miracle doesn't require qualifications, doesn't require perfection. It only requires faith to receive what has already been released in your name. The entire universe is conspiring for this miracle to reach you. Every decision you've made, every step of faith you've taken, every moment of perseverance, all this has created the perfect path for this supernatural blessing to reach you now. Your name is shining in the heavens, and the resources designated for you are in accelerated movement. You may be looking at the little you have in your hands and wondering how it could transform into abundance. Perhaps you're contemplating limited resources, scarce opportunities, and doors that seem to be closed. But today, I'll reveal a powerful secret. A touch from God is about to multiply the little you have in ways that will challenge all human logic. When God decides to multiply, He isn't limited by natural laws of economy or mathematics. The divine touch of multiplication doesn't ask how much you have, but how much you need. The same God who multiplied loaves and fishes to feed multitudes is extending His hand over the limited resources you possess right now. One touch from Him is all that's needed to transform scarcity into abundance. This divine multiplication isn't based on your merit or the quantity you currently possess. It's founded solely on supernatural power and God's will to manifest His glory through your life. When the divine touch meets the little you have, a chain reaction of prosperity begins. Resources expand, opportunities multiply, divine connections form. You've been faithful with little. You've managed wisely what was within your reach. Even when it seemed insufficient, God has seen your faithfulness in small things and now is preparing a supernatural touch that will exponentially multiply what you have. This isn't just a gradual increase. It's an explosion of abundance that will completely transform your financial reality. Understand that God's touch isn't limited by circumstances. It doesn't matter if you're unemployed, in debt, or facing an impossible financial diagnosis. The same power that created the heavens and earth with a word is now focused on multiplying your resources. He can do more in 1 second than you could achieve in a lifetime of efforts. Visualize now the resources you have, however limited they may seem. See them as seeds ready to be touched by the divine power of multiplication. Every penny, every opportunity, every idea, every talent you possess is about to experience supernatural growth. The little won't remain little for long. Scarcity won't be your permanent reality. When God's touch reaches your finances, limitations break, barriers fall, impossibilities disappear. Suddenly, what seemed insufficient becomes more than enough. What seemed too small to make a difference transforms into the foundation of your abundance. This is the nature of the divine touch. He doesn't just add, he multiplies. God's multiplying touch won't come from a single direction. You'll experience creative ideas emerging in your mind, unexpected doors opening, people being strategically positioned in your path, talents being activated, resources being released. This multiplication will be multidimensional, affecting every area of your financial life. Many are waiting for something big to begin their journey of prosperity, but God is saying to give him the little you have now. Place in his hands your limited resources, your abilities, your ideas. Don't wait to have more before you start believing in multiplication. It's exactly with the little that the miracle of multiplication begins. God's touch that multiplies isn't just for your personal satisfaction. It's for you to become a channel of blessings, a living testimony of divine power, proof that human limits cannot contain celestial abundance. When people see what happened with the little you had, they'll be inspired to surrender their own limited resources into the Creator's hands. The divine multiplication coming upon your financial life won't follow predictable patterns. It will surprise you in its magnitude, its speed, its impact. Where there was lack before, there will now be excess. Where there were debts, there will now be resources to spare. Where there was anxiety about the financial future, there will now be peace and security. You don't need to fully understand how this multiplication will happen. Faith doesn't demand complete understanding. It requires trust in the God who multiplies. The divine touch often operates beyond our comprehension, exceeding our limited expectations. What matters isn't understanding the process, but being ready to receive the result. This is the moment to abandon all scarcity mentality. God doesn't operate within the limits of lack. He is the God of infinite abundance. The multiplying touch that's coming upon your life will transform not just your external circumstances, but also your internal mindset. You'll begin to think like someone who lives in abundance, not like someone trapped in scarcity. The magnificence of this divine touch is in the fact that it transforms every seed into a forest, every drop into an ocean, every penny into a fortune. God isn't just adding a little more to what you have. He's establishing a new system of prosperity in your life that will operate in continuous abundance. What once seemed totally impossible, what experts said would never happen, what circumstances indicated was unreachable, is now being converted into a powerful testimony of victory. The financial impossibilities you've been facing are being rewritten by God's hand to become stories of supernatural breakthrough. Think about the situations you considered financially impossible, that debt that seemed unpayable, that dream that required resources far beyond your reach, that financial goal that seemed to belong only to the realm of fantasy. Now, prepare to see each of these impossibilities transform into living testimonies of God's power in your life. The impossible only exists until the moment God decides to intervene. When the supernatural touches the natural, new realities are created, new paths are opened, and what seemed insurmountable becomes the perfect stage for a divine miracle. Your financial impossibilities have been carefully selected to become the greatest testimonies of your future. You're on the threshold of a dramatic change, where every not possible will be replaced by it happened supernaturally. Every door that seemed permanently closed will now open before you. Every financial mountain that blocked your path will be removed. Every river of difficulties that seemed impassable will now have a divine bridge built over it. The testimony forming in your life won't just be for your personal glory, but to show the world the transforming power of faith. People will observe with amazement how seemingly unsolvable situations are completely reversed in your life. They'll wonder how such transformation was possible, and your answer will simply be, what was impossible became testimony. Your story of financial breakthrough is already being written in the heavens. The details are being carefully orchestrated, the resources are being positioned, the right people are being directed to your path. The impossibility you face now is just the perfect scenario for an extraordinary testimony that will inspire many. God doesn't just solve problems, He creates redemption stories that echo for generations. Your current financial difficulties aren't the end of the story. They're just the beginning of a testimony that will demonstrate divine power in an undeniable way. What seems to be your biggest obstacle today will be tomorrow's greatest platform for testimony. The transformation of the impossible into testimony doesn't happen gradually. It occurs in a divine moment of intervention. Just as the Red Sea didn't dry up slowly, but opened instantly, creating a path where there was none before, your impossible financial situation won't improve little by little. It will be completely transformed by a supernatural touch. You've carried the weight of this impossibility long enough. You've struggled, you've strived, you've sought solutions within human limits. But now is the time for divine intervention, the moment when God takes control and transforms your greatest difficulty into your most glorious testimony. It's time to release the weight and observe how the impossible bows before God's power. When the testimony begins to manifest in your life, you'll recognize that it wasn't your ability that produced the change, but supernatural intervention. This recognition is essential, as your testimony won't be about what you managed to accomplish, but what God did when you had already exhausted all your possibilities. The impossible becoming testimony isn't just a change of circumstances, it's a transfer of glory. Your financial impossibilities were allowed for a determined time so that when they were transformed, all glory would be directed to God. Every obstacle you faced was carefully positioned to amplify the impact of the testimony to come. While you've looked at your impossibilities with despair, God has seen them as opportunities to demonstrate His power. Where you saw dead ends, He visualized stages for miracles. Every no you received, every closed door, every denied resource, all this was part of a greater plan to create a testimony that no one can deny. The time of turnaround has arrived. The narrative of impossibility that has defined your financial life is being rewritten at this very moment. The script of scarcity is being replaced by the script of abundance. The story of limitation is giving way to the story of supernatural provision. Your testimony isn't just coming, it has already begun to manifest. The transition from impossible to testimony often begins in the invisible, before manifesting in the visible. Even if your eyes can't yet see the change, know that in the spiritual realms, your financial transformation is already underway. Divine forces are working, resources are being mobilized, paths are being opened, so your testimony will be complete. When the impossible becomes testimony, it's not just you who is impacted, it's an entire generation. Your financial testimony will become a seed of faith, planted in the hearts of those facing their own impossibilities. Your story will be told as evidence that no situation is beyond the reach of God's transforming power. Chosen one, prepare for an extraordinary revelation. Resources that defy all human logic are materializing in your life at this very moment. These aren't common resources, subject to the laws of economics or limited by conventional financial systems. They're supernatural provisions that follow a divine logic, the logic of infinite abundance. These resources are coming from places you would never imagine, through channels that seem impossible, at moments that defy all statistical probability. While the world operates within a system of cause and effect, effort and reward, you're about to experience a flow of blessings that doesn't follow these limited rules. Human logic says you need to have in order to receive more, that you must possess collateral to obtain credit, that your financial history determines your economic future. But divine logic operates on a completely different plane, where nothing transforms into everything, where limitations convert into opportunities, where your financial past doesn't determine your future of abundance. Resources outside of logic aren't traceable to conventional sources. They'll appear as sudden ideas, as unexpected connections, as opportunities that emerge from nowhere. A transfer of wealth is happening in the spiritual realms, and you've been chosen to be a recipient of this supernatural abundance. While you've been counting your pennies, God has been counting the millions designated for you. While you've struggled to balance your budget, celestial forces have been moving to create a flow of prosperity that will exceed all your needs. What seems scarce in your current reality is just a contrast to highlight the magnitude of the illogical resources that are about to manifest. These resources aren't just distant promises, they're already in motion, already materializing, already finding their way to you. Like waves that begin invisibly in the middle of the ocean before reaching the shore, these financial blessings have already been released and are on their way to your tangible reality. The materialization of these resources outside of logic begins first in your spirit. You'll notice a new confidence arising within you, an inexplicable certainty that provision is on the way. Innovative ideas will begin to flow in your mind. Meaningful connections will be formed in your path, and opportunities will arise from unexpected places. You don't need to fully understand how these resources will reach you. In fact, trying to comprehend the supernatural through natural logic is limiting the unlimited. What you need to do is open your heart and mind to receive in ways that transcend your current understanding. Be ready to accept blessings that arrive through unconventional paths. These resources outside of logic won't just be sufficient, they'll be abundant. They won't just be to meet your needs, they'll be to establish a new dimension of prosperity in your life. God isn't sending just enough for you to survive. He's releasing resources for you to prosper, for you to influence, for you to become a channel of blessings to others. The materialization of these illogical resources often happens in moments of greatest need, when human resources are exhausted, when natural possibilities have come to an end, when you're about to give up. It's exactly at this moment that the supernatural enters the scene. God's perfect timing often seems like the last minute from a human perspective. There are hidden treasures that have been reserved specifically for you, riches that have been accumulated for this specific time in your life. These resources aren't the result of your work, aren't the fruit of your investments, aren't the consequence of your networking. They're pure manifestations of divine provision designated for you even before the beginning of time. The materialization of these illogical resources will also bring with it supernatural wisdom to manage them correctly. You'll receive not just the financial blessings, but also the ability to manage them wisely, to multiply them with integrity, and to use them for the divine purposes for which they were intended. Accept that you've been chosen for this supernatural flow of resources. It's not by chance, not coincidence. It's a divine decree with your name. You've been strategically positioned in this time and place to receive this transfer of prosperity that defies all human logic. The materialization of these illogical resources doesn't depend on the global economy, isn't affected by interest rates, isn't subject to market fluctuations. It operates in a completely different system, the system of divine provision that transcends the limitations of human systems. While the world talks of recession, you'll experience progression. While others face reductions, you'll witness multiplications. Don't put limits on how these resources can reach you. Be open to the unexpected, receptive to the unusual, available for the extraordinary. Illogical resources rarely follow predictable paths. They surprise, astonish, and amaze both the recipient and the observers. Your name is being mentioned in places of provision, in circles of influence, in strategic meetings, in decisive conversations. People you've never met are talking about you. Doors you didn't knock on are opening, and opportunities you didn't create are being formed with your name on them. This isn't a casual coincidence. It's a divine orchestration. The creator of the universe is moving pieces on the cosmic board, positioning strategic people to mention your name at the exact moment and precise place where abundant resources are being distributed. You've been selected for a supernatural promotion that transcends your current qualifications or visible connections. In boardrooms where important decisions are made, in conversations where valuable opportunities are discussed, in places where influence and resources meet, your name is emerging inexplicably. People are feeling an inexplicable compulsion to remember you, to mention your abilities, to connect you to possibilities that will transform your financial reality. Divine favor is creating an aura around your name, a supernatural attraction that causes it to be remembered at the most strategic moments. Like Joseph, who was forgotten in prison but suddenly remembered and elevated to the palace, your name is resurfacing in places of authority and provision in God's perfect timing. You may not have the right connections by the world's standards, may not have been born into an influential family, may not have attended elite schools, but none of this matters when God decides to elevate your name. The divine mention overcomes any limitation of background, transcends any social barrier, and ignores any deficiency in your resume. In places where financial resources are being allocated, where opportunities for prosperity are being created, where doors to abundance are being opened, your name is being pronounced with favor and acceptance. The same God who made Cyrus mention Nehemiah's name to rebuild the walls is making people in strategic positions mention your name to rebuild your financial life. This supernatural phenomenon of your name being mentioned doesn't depend on your networking, isn't the result of your self-promotion ability, isn't linked to your skill at impressing others. It's purely a divine movement, a celestial intervention that positions your name in the right mouth at the right moment in the right place. Imagine conversations happening right now, where decisions that will affect your financial future are being made. Visualize your name arising in these discussions, being associated with words like opportunity, potential, solution, right person. This isn't a fantasy, it's a spiritual reality that's materializing in the physical plane at this very moment. The fact that your name is being mentioned in places of provision is a testimony that your season of anonymity has come to an end. The time of being forgotten, ignored, or passed over is ending. A new phase is beginning, a phase where your name carries favor, attracts opportunities, and opens doors that previously seemed permanently closed. When God decides to elevate someone, He doesn't need to follow conventional protocols. He simply puts that person's name in the ears of those who have authority to transform situations. This is happening with you now. Your name is being whispered in influential ears, being planted in decisive minds, being highlighted in significant conversations. This supernatural mention of your name isn't an isolated event. It's part of a continuous movement that's building momentum. Each mention leads to another. Each connection generates new possibilities. Each open door reveals entire corridors of opportunities. Your name is creating a chain reaction of favor and provision that will continue to expand. You might be wondering, why me? Why would my name be mentioned in such significant places? The answer isn't in your merits, but in divine choice. God decided that this is your time of elevation, that this is your season of visibility, that this is your moment to reap the favor that was sown with your name. In the places of provision where your name is being mentioned, it's not just financial resources being released. It's also valuable connections, transformative ideas, strategic partnerships, and creative solutions. The mention of your name is activating a multi-dimensional flow of blessings that will touch every aspect of your life. Chosen one, you're on the threshold of a financial experience that will challenge all rational explanations. Prepare to experience something so extraordinary, so outside conventional patterns, so beyond logical possibilities, that no human explanation will be sufficient to define what will happen in your life. This won't just be a moment of prosperity. It will be a supernatural manifestation that will completely transform your understanding of divine provision. This inexplicable experience won't fit into any economic theory, won't follow any known financial principle, can't be attributed to any conventional strategy. When people ask how it happened, you'll simply say, "I can't explain. I can only testify to what God did." Your story will become living proof that there are dimensions of blessings that transcend human understanding. The inexplicable that's about to happen in your financial life won't be a small improvement, won't be a gradual increase, won't be marginal progress. It will be a complete turnaround, a radical transformation, a change so drastic that it will seem like you skipped several stages at once. The abyss between where you are now and where you'll be soon will be so vast that no one, not even you, will be able to explain how it was crossed. When God operates in the inexplicable, He removes all natural limitations. Time is accelerated, resources multiply instantly, barriers disappear, and the impossible becomes not just possible, but manifest. You'll witness a collapse of time in your financial life. What would normally take years or decades to achieve will come to you in days or weeks. This supernatural phenomenon that's about to happen in your financial life will create a before and after in your story. There will be a clear dividing line. The moment when you experience something that can't be explained, this event will be so significant that you'll divide your life into before the miracle and after the miracle. Such will be the transformation. The inexplicable you'll experience won't just be for your personal benefit. It will be to establish a new standard of faith for those around you. When people witness what happened in your life, their own expectations will be elevated, their horizons expanded, and their beliefs about what's possible transformed. Your inexplicable testimony will be a seed of faith planted in hearts desperate for hope. When the inexplicable happens, it doesn't ask permission from current circumstances. It doesn't consult your bank balance, doesn't verify your credit history, doesn't examine your employment situation. The supernatural financial miracle that's coming will completely ignore your current reality and establish a new reality based solely on the divine decree that was issued in your favor. This inexplicable experience that's approaching won't be an isolated event. It will be the beginning of a new dimension of life in which the supernatural will become your new normal. The first inexplicable miracle will open the door to a succession of extraordinary experiences, creating a continuous flow of supernatural provision that will defy any rational explanation. Prepare to repeatedly answer the question, how did this happen? People will be intrigued, curious, and even skeptical about the financial transformation that will occur in your life. Don't worry about trying to explain the inexplicable. Simply share your testimony and allow the magnitude of the miracle to speak for itself. Human explanations would only diminish the greatness of what God did. The inexplicable miracle that's coming won't require your understanding but your reception. You don't need to understand how the resources will arrive, how the doors will open, how the opportunities will arise. You just need to be ready to receive when the inexplicable manifests. Faith doesn't demand prior understanding. It simply accepts what God provides, even when it transcends understanding. When you experience the inexplicable, your faith will be elevated to a new level. What once seemed impossible will now be just the starting point. Your dreams will expand, your prayers will become bolder, and your expectation for the supernatural will become your first response, not your last resort. The inexplicable won't just change your financial situation, it will fundamentally transform your faith. This unexplainable experience will break all barriers that have limited your prosperity. Generational curses of poverty, patterns of scarcity, cycles of limitation, restrictive beliefs about money will be broken. In a single supernatural moment, what generations couldn't overcome will be completely removed from your lineage, establishing a new pattern of abundance. The inexplicable you'll experience will establish your testimony as an anchor of hope in a world of disbelief. In times when many question the existence of miracles, your story will be irrefutable proof that the supernatural still happens, that the impossible still becomes possible, that the inexplicable still manifests for those who believe. Keep your eyes open and your heart receptive, for the inexplicable won't follow recognizable patterns. It will arrive in surprising ways, through unexpected channels, at moments you least expect. The surprise factor is an integral part of the inexplicable miracle. It not only defies explanations, but also transcends expectations. When the inexplicable miracle occurs, don't try to confine it to the limits of your understanding. Don't seek to rationalize the supernatural. Don't try to reduce the divine to human terms. Allow the inexplicable to remain inexplicable. It's in this dimension of divine mystery that the true greatness of the miracle is revealed. Your inability to explain will be in itself a testimony to the magnitude of what God did. Chosen one, we've reached the end of this message, but we're just at the beginning of your journey of supernatural financial miracles. What you heard today weren't just words of encouragement. They were prophetic decrees being released over your life, seeds of manifestation being planted in your spirit, doors of prosperity being opened in the spiritual realm. From this moment, be alert to the signs. Observe how unexpected resources will begin to flow in your direction. Notice how the little you have will begin to multiply in inexplicable ways. Note how situations that seemed impossible will begin to transform into powerful testimonies. Recognize how your name is being mentioned in strategic places, and prepare to experience financial experiences that will challenge any rational explanation. God is determined to manifest His power through your prosperity. Your financial turnaround isn't just for your personal benefit. It's a living testimony to a world that needs to believe in miracles again. When people see the transformation in your life, their faith will be revived, hope will be restored, and belief in the supernatural will be rekindled. Your part in this process is simple. Keep your faith active, your eyes open, and your heart receptive. Don't allow doubts, negative circumstances, or contrary opinions to diminish your expectation for the miracle that's already in motion. Continue declaring abundance over your life, visualizing the manifestation of prosperity, and acting like someone who has already received what was promised. Before we conclude, I want to ask you to do 2 simple things that will serve as seeds for your financial harvest. First, click the like button so this message reaches other chosen ones who, like you, are waiting for their financial transformation. Second, subscribe to this channel to continue receiving prophetic words that will feed your faith and accelerate your miracles. Remember, what you heard today isn't the end. It's just the beginning of your testimony of supernatural prosperity. The financial miracle is already in motion, has already been decreed in the heavens, and is now manifesting in your reality. Stay firm, stay in expectation, and prepare to witness the power of God completely transforming your financial life. Your turnaround has arrived, chosen one. Receive it now.